Hello, welcome to A Hare Over a Hill. I'm Hare, and today we are at it again with models at Karlov Manor. Yeah, the pre-release kit. So I have opinions. I think this channel is quite obvious enough with some of my things like up here, up there. It's gonna be showing a little casual review that I did of Argyle. I probably include some other my casual reviews. I have opinions on magic and other things. Let's talk about the box for a moment. We have a thing for. I really like this that they actually are doing something with these this time around. That you have a case solved and something else, and suspected, and I think it's suspend with a bunch of counters again. So that's really cool. But yeah, what is my opinion this time? That is pretty dang simple. That opinion has to do with the fact of another okay dice. With general sets. Of course, I'm of the opinion that we should be doing. Blocks used to define magic, and I miss them. Definitely in the state of where magic is at the moment, in which we are at a state of like we're seeing a release almost every month. For the major expansions, I would love to see it. Granted, go back 10 years, this model of, oh, okay, this is the only block we'll see for right now. Like, oh, this is a one-off set. This is a one-off set. 10 years ago, that would have made a little bit of sense, but if we do a set, like a block set, like a block of like 2, 3, 4 sets, that would make a whole lot more sense in today's sense, because it's like, remember, this is a major standard set, a major set. Oh no, that's fine. Granted, I would be fine with something like the models of Karlov Manor on occasion, for the sole purpose of uh like, oh, it's a fun little offset in the major rotation. That's fine. But, like, core time, strict even, we did not spend enough time on them. And for bringing in certain people, that's a major point. So for the actual starting pack, looks like you start with a number of things. But I got Audience with Trostani as my actual card. Create a 0/1 green creature token, then draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens you control. I have a Gerard commander deck. I might consider that. Almost any token strategy in Commander definitely is a big win. And a few decks in a few formats might like it, but Commander's gotta love it for sure. But yeah, like with all other pre-release boxes, all I'm really gotta do is crack into these packs and have fun with it. So, I'm probably gotta skip most of the commons and whatnot. Oh, Escape Tunnel. I love it. It's another version of Evolving Wilds that actually has a somewhat use in the late game of, instead of sacking it to grab a different land, you can tap, sacrifice it, target creature can with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. In the late game, that can be useful. In limited. That's the big thing. In limited, it's going to be great. And this is actually a somewhat nice alternative. Granted, it's common, but fanatical strength, an alternative to giant strength for 1 additional mana. You can give something trample on top of it. So, yeah. Ooh, this art card, if you've been collecting it or using it for, it still looks great, but there's a very glossiness to it. The uncommons, my rare is Cryptic Coat. I think I was seeing this around. When Cryptic Coat enters the battlefield, cloak the top card, then attach Cryptic Coat to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. Return Cryptic Coat to its owner's hand. So yeah, you could just get like a 2/2 new creature with ward and then keep it attached as long as it is. There's no equip so you can't reattach it, but if it's ever be threatening, you can just go nope and return it back to the hand. So that's pretty nice. And a hollow common. Ally Assailant enters the battlefield tapped. Disguise for 4 black, and when ally assailant is turned face up, target opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. Okay, so it drains somebody. I get the idea that disguise is similar to morph with ward, and cloak. Is that the keyword? Yeah, cloak is gonna be similar to manifest, but with ward. You know what I mean? Like, most people know what morph is. Manifest was a similar thing, but it said top card of your library. That becomes a 2/2. If it's a creature, you can flip it face up. So it was similar to morph, but anything could be manifested. And it was from the top of the deck. So, magnifying glass. Really not a reprint. This was part of the original Shadows Over in a Short block. So I like the investigation. Investigation is coming back in the. It's like, oh yeah, no, this card makes sense in the set, so like, why not have it back? Buried in the garden, enters the battlefield, exile target, null and permanent until you don't control or buried in the garden leaves the battlefield. Whenever enchanted land is tapped. Oh, for its mana, it adds like the enchanted land. It's like it's ossification with a with those types of like enchant land gets an additional mana whenever it becomes tapped, which is nice. Knife, clue equipment, okay, and the case of the trampled garden. this case enters the battlefield, distribute 2+1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 creatures you control. To solve, creatures you control have total power 8 or greater. If unsolved, solve at the beginning of your end step. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains. Okay, so this seems like a win more card. It's like, oh yeah, put 2 counters on something. Yeah, that's nice. You don't. Once you solve it, it's like, I'm attacking with an 8/8. Oh, it's just I can start growing my creatures, but to solve it, you already have to have an 8/8. So it's like, you're probably already winning at that point. The rare is Hustle and Bustle. Did they actually? Oh, no, that is an uncommon. But at least they're doing no, like the split cards. But that is somewhat disappointing. Like, hey, it's cool that it's like Hustle's an Izzy card and Bustle is a Gruul card. So it's like, that's pretty cool. But it's somewhat disappointing that they really have ever, since they had the fuse mechanic, they've never really, like, they've done split cards, but they haven't really done revisited fuse again. So, there's 1 mythic of ill-timed explosion, draw 2 cards, then you may discard 2 cards. When you do ill-tempered, deals X damage to each creature where X is the greatest mana value among the cards discarded this way. And it's for 2 generic, a green and a white and a blue. And that is a nice piece of art. And we have another rare of Krenko's Buzz Crasher as our not the best, right there. An artifact creature, Insect Doctor. I like that. Flying Trample. When Krenko's Buzz Crasher enters the battlefield, for each player destroy up to 1 non-basic land that player controls. For each non-land destroyed this way, its controller may search their library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle it. Flying Tramper. So, enters the battlefield, destroy up to no. Okay, so for 4 mana, I get a 4/4 Flying Trampler, which is generally nice. And then I get to potentially blow up some non-basics that gets in my way, which is generally nice. Questionable if it's actually gonna be seeing play. Any deck that doesn't mind having a full, like, there might be a few aggressive decks that don't mind it as its top end. So, Clue Token, which is always nice. The land is for the fall art. I would have to see a few more, but I'm mid to them at the moment. The Hare that we got is an alternative uncommon. Deadly Complications. Choose 1 or both. Destroy. It's 1 generic, a black and a red. For choose 1 or both. Destroy target creature. put a +1/+1 on targeted suspected creature you control. You may have it become no longer suspected. That is mid. It's gonna come up. It's gonna see how much suspected is a thing in standard or limited. To really see if that other half is going to be really useful. Commons. Hard-hitting question. No more lies. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting in the grid. That is pretty news for ice for white and 8 blue. Okay. Okay, so we got 2 Vares again. But I have opinions on one of them. One of them is Treacherous Greed for a generic white and black. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature that damage this turn. Draw 3 cards. Each opponent loses 3 life. You gain 3 life. That is not bad. And a number of decks, it's gonna be questionable if other formats are gonna really like it, but I can definitely see it being played in some decks. Probably Commander, but I could see some deck formats really liking it. The other card that I have is Thundering Falls. It is the Island Mountain, and it's one of the Surveil lands. Yeah, it enters tapped. It's searchable, and it can, and Surveil. I'm not too sure. It's searchable by the things that help out those land types, like the shark lands, but I'm 50-50 on it. Here we'll see it play, and there will be people say that we'll love it, but it's the Surveil aspect that I'm like, why does it have to be a rare? That's what I mean. I'm mid at it. Yeah, instead of a normal token card, we get one of these punch outs, which is okay. We got a Hollow Land, which is doesn't actually look that bad. It almost has like a semi-Theros or Strixhaven feel to it for that planes. Multicolor is back at common, so that's pretty cool. There was fewer comments than I expected in this. Fester Leech. Frantic Scapegoat, creature type goat. For a red, you get a 1/1 haste creature. When Frantic Scapegoat enters the battlefield suspected, it has menace and can't block. Whenever one or more creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if Frantic Goat is suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do, frantic goat is no longer suspected. Interesting. 4 uncommons. So we'll be seeing more uncommons in drafts. So, I got a Nyx Weaver from the original Theros block. Okay. So it's for a 1 generic, a black, a green, you get a 2/3 enchantment creature spider with reach. At the beginning of your upkeep, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, aka that means mill 2. And then for 1 generic, a black, and a green, exile Nyx Weaver, return target card from your graveyard to hand. Nice. Bite down crime. As an additional cost, you may cast the spell. You may collect evidence 6. This spell costs 2 generic less to cast if evidence was collected. To collect evidence 6, exile the total mana cost of 6 or greater from your graveyard. Okay, and it's 3 generic and a green to start off with. Target creature you control gets +2 +0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to target creature you don't control. So go ahead and bite something. And then the Veil, Haunted Bone Brute, Menace. When it enters the battlefield, target creature, target opponent creates 2 1/1 white dog creature tokens. It's 2 generic and a red for 6/2. When it dies, each opponent loses 3 and disguise for 1 generic and a black. So yeah, you just put it straight out, it creates 2 dogs that are going to immediately kill the Bone Brute, but you can put it face down, then flip it straight up. It somewhat sucks that it dies to Bale, but anything with power 2, so. But it's a 3 mana, but it has menace, meaning with that 6 power it can actually do quite a bit. But if you give your opponent the 2 creatures, it's dogs, that somewhat sucks. So yeah. Let's see. Melding youths when you attack with 3 more creatures. Investigate. Okay. So, red and white might have to do with clues. Okay, so yeah, another hollow for Fallout land. I admit to it. We are getting quite a bit of things happening around the rail slot. Underground moratoria, so another one of those surveil lands. Again, I admit to them. They could definitely see an impact, but the surveil is what is giving me some amount of meh to them. Pyrotechnic performers are regular rail. Disguise for single red. Whenever pyrotechnic performer or another creature you control is turned face up, that creature deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. In that, I. And if you're playing a Morph Deck in Commander, that is pretty dang cool. In Standard, that could be a thing. Potentially doing a flip, face down, flip up kind of thing. If you're on red. As the uncommon, a uncommon rare, this caught red-handed cannot be countered, gain control of target creature, untap it, gains haste, and suspected. It is meh. And then the last card is Victimize. Choose 2 target creatures in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen creatures to the battlefield tapped for 2 generic and a black. And I do not. Nice alternative, but I do not recognize that set. So, I don't know if it's supposed to be like from the whatever it's called, like the Mystic Archive in Strixhaven. I don't know if that's supposed to be what that is for, but whatever. At the moment, I'm somewhat okay with most of these things. Normal Island is... I actually somewhat like that island. Magnifying glass again. Soul Searcher. The Hollow Suspicious Detonation. Like the name, costs for 4 generic and red. This spell costs 3 less if you sacrifice an artifact this turn. This spell cannot be sacrificed. Suspicious Detonation deals 4 damage to target creature. Oh. Okay, removal. That's the basic thing. The rare is War Leader's Call enchantment for a 1 generic of red and white. You creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, War Leader's Call deals 1 damage to each opponent. Standard boss stuff, anthems, and I may actually want to put that in genre of just like saying, like, it's basically Impact Tremors. Yeah, it's basically Impact Tremors. And we also got Dusk Mantle House of Shadows in as a reprint. Taps for generic or for blue and a black, tapping it. Target player puts top card of his or her library into his or her grave. So middle 1. Yeah, so overall, models is pretty cool. Well, actually, when I picked it up, I got another play booster. So they just like, oh yeah, we'll throw it on just because we want to. So let's see how it. Whoa! Okay, I opened it up and it's like immediately it's like okay, but then it's like immediately go into a swamp. Okay. And the hollow of Gravestone Strider for 1/3 artifact creature Golem for 1 generic, add 1 mana for 1 generic, add 1 mana of any color, activate only once each turn, so corrective. And for 2 generic, exiling the Strider from your graveyard, exile a card from a graveyard. Okay, so graveyard removal. And our Rare is Doppelganger XXX green and a blue sorcery. Create for each X target permanents, create X token copies of that permanent. Okay, so it's if you pay 5 mana where X is 1, you get to create 1 copy of 1 permanent. But if you pay 2, if X is 2 and pay 8 mana, you get 2 tokens of 2 different permanents. So you're creating 4 tokens. So, somebody's gonna abuse it for sure. Most of these uncommons are, yep, 3 uncommons and a bunch of commons. Yeah, I was just not expecting that auto when I opened up the pack. So yeah, that was pretty dang fun and long as normal, but yeah, these are my thoughts about the pre-release pack. So yeah, I'll see you around, folks.